Open your banking app right now in your head. What do you see? A checking account? Maybe a savings account? Maybe a 401k your employer set up automatically that you have barely looked at since you signed the paperwork. Now I want you to picture a millionaire's financial profile. Not their lifestyle, not their car or their house, their actual account structure behind the scenes. It does not look anything like what most people have. It is not just a checking account and a savings account with bigger numbers in them. It is a specific, deliberate collection of 7 distinct accounts, each one serving a completely different purpose in a coordinated wealth-building system. And here is the part that should genuinely frustrate you a little. Every single one of these 7 accounts is available to you. Right now. Today. For free or nearly free. Nobody is gatekeeping them. Nobody requires you to already be rich to open them. They are sitting there, publicly available, and almost nobody ever told you they existed or why they matter. Today, Kasongo is opening the vault on all 7. What each account is, why millionaires use it specifically, and exactly how you can open yours this week. Let us get into it. Before we get into the 7 accounts, I want to challenge an assumption that almost everyone carries without realizing it. Most people believe that the primary difference between them and a millionaire is simply the amount of money involved. More zeros. Bigger numbers. Same basic structure, just scaled up. That assumption is wrong, and understanding why it is wrong is the entire point of this video. The actual difference is not just quantity, it is architecture. Millionaires do not just have more money sitting in a checking account. They have built a deliberate system where every dollar has an assigned job, an assigned account, and an assigned purpose before it even arrives. Here is a simple way to think about it. If you have one bucket for all your money, every financial decision becomes complicated. Is this money for emergencies? Is this money for retirement? Is this money for taxes I will owe later? Is this money for an opportunity that might come up? When everything sits in one place, you are constantly guessing and frequently making suboptimal decisions because the structure does not exist to guide you. When you have 7 accounts each with a clear purpose, the decisions become automatic. Money arrives and it already knows where it is going. This is not about complexity for the sake of complexity. It is about clarity that removes decision fatigue and prevents the most common wealth-building mistakes before they happen. Now let us open all 7. Account number 1, the high-yield savings account. And I am starting here because this is the account that most people either do not have at all or have but are using completely wrong by leaving it at a traditional bank. Here is the problem with a standard savings account at a traditional brick-and-mortar bank. The national average interest rate on those accounts sits somewhere around 0.4% annually. On $10,000, that is $40 per year. Less than the cost of a single dinner out. A high-yield savings account, typically offered by online banks with lower overhead costs, currently pays between 4 and 5% annually depending on market conditions. On that same $10,000, you are now earning $400 to $500 per year. Same risk level. Same FDIC insurance protection. Same liquidity. 10 times the return simply by choosing a different account at a different institution. Millionaires use this account specifically for their emergency fund and short-term cash reserves. Money that needs to remain liquid and accessible, but should still be earning something meaningful while it waits. The specific institutions most commonly used for this account include Marcus by Goldman Sachs, Ally Bank, and American Express High Yield Savings. All FDIC insured. All allow instant transfers. All requires 0 minimum balance in most cases. The action step here is the easiest one on this entire list. If your emergency fund or cash savings is currently sitting in a traditional bank account, earning next to nothing, moving it to a high-yield account takes about 15 minutes and costs you nothing. This is the single easiest financial upgrade available to anyone watching this video. Account number 2, the Roth IRA. This is the account that financial advisors consistently rank as one of the most powerful wealth-building tools available to ordinary people. And yet, survey after survey shows that most working adults either do not have one or do not fully understand why it matters. Here is the mechanism that makes this account so valuable. You contribute money that has already been taxed. Inside the account, your investments grow completely free of any further taxation. And when you withdraw the money in retirement, you pay 0 taxes on any of the growth. Not a reduced rate. 0. Let me make this concrete. You contribute $7,000 this year, the current annual limit for most people. Over 30 years, that $7,000, invested in a typical index fund, could realistically grow to over $50,000. In a regular taxable account, you would owe capital gains tax on that growth when you eventually sell. In a Roth IRA, that entire $50,000 is yours, completely tax-free. Millionaires prioritize maxing this account every single year specifically because the tax-free growth compounds most powerfully over long-time horizons. The earlier you start, the more dramatic the advantage becomes. There are income limits on direct Roth IRA contributions, but a strategy called the backdoor Roth IRA allows higher earners to access the same benefit through a slightly different process. The action step is to open a Roth IRA this week if you do not already have one, through any major brokerage like Fidelity, Schwab, or Vanguard, and set up an automatic monthly contribution toward the annual limit. Account number 3, the taxable brokerage account. Now, this one might sound less exciting than the others because, unlike a Roth IRA or 401k, it offers no special tax advantages. But that absence of restriction is exactly what makes this account so essential in a complete wealth-building system. Retirement accounts come with rules, contribution limits, early withdrawal penalties before age 59.5 in most cases, required distribution schedules later in life. A taxable brokerage account has none of these restrictions. You can contribute any amount. You can withdraw any amount at any time for any reason. Complete flexibility. This is why millionaires use this account as their primary wealth-building vehicle once they have maxed out their available retirement accounts. It is where excess investment capital goes after the tax-advantaged accounts are fully funded. This account is also strategically important for anyone planning to retire before the standard retirement account access age of 59.5. If you are pursuing financial independence or early retirement, your taxable brokerage account becomes the bridge that funds your life between the day you stop working and the day your retirement accounts become accessible without penalty. The tax treatment, while less favorable than a Roth IRA, is still quite reasonable. Long-term capital gains, meaning investments held over 1 year, are taxed at favorable rates that for many people sits at 15% or in some cases 0%, depending on income level. The action step is simple. Once you are contributing meaningfully to your 401k match and your Roth IRA, open a standard taxable brokerage account and direct any additional investment capital there. The same index funds and dividend strategies discussed in previous videos work perfectly inside this account. Account number 4. The Health Savings Account, commonly known as an HSA. And I genuinely believe this is the most underutilized account on this entire list. Most people who have access to one use it purely as a way to pay medical bills with pre-tax dollars and never realize what it can actually become. Here is why financial experts often call the HSA the most tax-advantaged account in the entire United States tax code. It offers what is called a triple tax advantage. Your contributions are tax-deductible going in. Your investments grow completely tax-free inside the account, and your withdrawals are tax-free as long as they are used for qualified medical expenses. No other account, including the Roth IRA, offers all 3 of these benefits simultaneously. Here is the strategy that millionaires use that almost nobody else knows about. Instead of using the HSA to pay medical bills as they occur, they pay out of pocket for medical expenses when possible, save every receipt, and let the HSA balance invest and grow completely untouched for decades. Then, years or even decades later, they can reimburse themselves for those old medical expenses at any point in the future, pulling out the growth completely tax-free. Even more powerfully, after age 65, an HSA can be used for any expense at all, not just medical ones, though non-medical withdrawals after that age are taxed like a traditional retirement account. This makes the HSA function as essentially a second retirement account with superior tax treatment. To have access to this account, you need to be enrolled in a high-deductible health insurance plan. If you have access to one through your employer or the marketplace, maximizing HSA contributions should be a priority right alongside your retirement accounts. Investment number 5. Skills that increase your earning power. Warren Buffett has said repeatedly that the best investment you can ever make is in yourself. And the math on this statement is more compelling than almost any financial return you will find elsewhere. A skill that increases your income by $10,000 per year is worth more than most people's entire investment portfolios at the start of their 30s. Because that $10,000 annual income increase, invested consistently over 30 years at average market returns, compounds into well over $1 million. The skills that produce the highest return in the current economy fall into 4 categories. Technical skills like software development, data analysis, and AI tool usage. Financial skills like understanding tax strategy, investment analysis, and business finance. Communication skills like writing, public speaking, and sales. And leadership skills like managing teams, systems thinking, and strategic decision-making. What makes this investment particularly powerful in your 30s is the combination of timing and application. A skill you develop at 32 has potentially 30 or more years of compounding income potential ahead of it. The same skill developed at 50 has 20 years or fewer. And the cost of most skill development today is genuinely low compared to the return. A $500 course that helps you command $2,000 more per month in freelance income produces a 400% return in the first year alone. No stock in the world reliably produces that. Invest in at least one significant skill upgrade per year throughout your 30s and watch how dramatically your income trajectory changes by the time you reach 40. Investment number 6. Dividend-paying stocks. This is the investment that most people in their 30s do not think about until much later. And starting it earlier than most people do is one of the quietest and most powerful advantages a wealth builder in their 30s can have. Dividend-paying stocks are shares of companies that distribute a portion of their profits to shareholders on a regular basis, usually quarterly, sometimes monthly. You own the shares. The company profits. A percentage of those profits flows directly into your brokerage account on a schedule, regardless of whether the stock price goes up or down. The magic of dividend investing in your 30s specifically is what happens when you reinvest every dividend payment back into more shares. This is called DRIP, or Dividend Reinvestment Plan. And the compound effect of doing this for 1, 2, or 3 decades is genuinely staggering. Here is a simple illustration. You invest $50,000 in a diversified dividend portfolio yielding 4% annually. That generates $2,000 per year in dividends. You reinvest all of it buying more shares. Those new shares generate their own dividends, which buy more shares. Over 20 years at consistent reinvestment and modest appreciation, your original $50,000 investment can grow to well over $250,000, with the dividend income continuing to climb the entire time. The best dividend ETFs for building this position include SCHD, which tracks high-quality dividend growth stocks, VYM, which focuses on high-yield dividend payers, and VIG, which tracks companies with strong records of growing their dividends over time. Starting this investment in your 30s gives the DRIP compound effect maximum time to work. The people who build significant dividend income in retirement almost always started the position far earlier than felt necessary at the time. Investment number 7. An opportunity fund. And this last one is the most underrated item on the entire list. So I want you to stay focused here because understanding this concept separates average investors from genuinely wealthy ones. An opportunity fund is a dedicated pool of liquid cash, typically 3 to 12 months of living expenses or more, kept separate from your emergency fund and your regular investments. Its entire purpose is to be available when an exceptional opportunity presents itself. Here's why this matters so profoundly in your 30s. Your 30s are the decade where opportunities begin appearing in your life that your 20s did not have access to. A friend launches a promising small business and needs an early investor. A real estate deal appears at a below-market price requiring a fast cash offer. A business acquisition opportunity presents itself. A once-in-a-decade market correction drops quality investments to prices that will not be seen again for years. Every one of these opportunities has something in common. They reward the person who has capital available immediately and penalize the person who has to scramble, borrow, or simply watch the opportunity close while they figure out their finances. The people who build the most wealth in their 30s and 40s are almost never the ones with the highest salaries. They are the ones who were liquid when everyone else was fully invested with no room to move, who had cash when the market panicked, who could move fast when others moved slow. Building an opportunity fund is not about being conservative. It is about being ready. The best investments you will ever make might be the ones you cannot predict right now. The opportunity fund ensures you are never in the position of having to say, "I wish I had the capital available when that came along." Keep this fund in a high-yield savings account or short-term treasury bills where it earns competitive interest while remaining fully accessible when you need it. Now, let me show you what happens when all 7 of these investments work together simultaneously over a decade. This is where individual investments stop being separate decisions and start becoming a wealth-building system. And systems produce compound results that no single element could produce on its own. Consider this realistic scenario. You are 30 years old, average income, no special advantages, but you make a commitment to all 7 investments in the following proportions. You contribute to your 401k enough to capture the full employer match. You max your Roth IRA annually. You invest automatically in low-cost index funds every month. You start a small side business that generates $500 per month in its first year. You take one significant skill development course per year. You begin a small dividend position and reinvest every dividend. And you build a 3-month opportunity fund in a high-yield account. At age 40, what does this look like? Your index fund position has grown to a meaningful portfolio with decades of additional compound growth ahead. Your retirement accounts have grown substantially with tax-free or tax-deferred gains accumulating. Your side business has likely grown significantly from month 1. Your dividend income is now contributing hundreds per month that buy more shares automatically. Your skills have made you substantially more valuable in the market. Your real estate position has appreciated and possibly generated rental income throughout. And your opportunity fund has already allowed you to take advantage of at least 1 or 2 opportunities that your peers had to pass on. None of this requires a windfall. None of it requires exceptional talent. It requires one thing that most people underestimate enormously: a decision made in your 30s, followed by consistent execution for 1 decade. I want to speak directly to the people watching this who feel behind, who are in their 30s and feel like the window has partially closed, who look at this list and feel overwhelmed by how much they have not yet done. First, I want to say this clearly. The feeling of being behind is one of the most common feelings in personal finance, and it is almost always more subjective than objective. Most people feel behind regardless of where they actually are. Second, I want to be honest with you about something that tends to get lost in financial content. Starting at 35 is dramatically better than starting at 45. Starting at 38 is dramatically better than starting at 48. The window has not closed. It has simply started producing less optimal results with each passing year you wait. Which means the single most valuable thing you can do right now, today, is start. Here is the order I would recommend if starting from scratch with limited resources. Step 1. Capture any employer 401k match immediately. This is your highest guaranteed return. Step 2. Build a 3-month emergency fund first. Without this, every investment decision is made from a position of fragility. Step 3. Open a Roth IRA and begin contributing even small amounts. Step 4. Start building index fund investments automatically with whatever you have remaining. Step 5. Launch the smallest viable version of a side income stream immediately. Even $50 per month is a start. Step 6. Commit to 1 skill investment this year. Step 7. Build your opportunity fund over time as your income grows. You do not need to do all 7 perfectly from day 1. You need to start all 7 as quickly as reasonably possible and improve your execution of each one over time.